Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Rand Dunningham.
And we have stumbled our way into episode 400. Something that you sound shocking and awe and large in scale, like, a Godzilla movie 20 years later.
But then you gotta get to it just like, oh, another one of these. Oh, really 400? I'm not gonna lie, when we got to 100, I had this real sense of, oh, wow. Even 200, I felt that. 300 was a little bit more of like, oh, okay, cool. But now we're at 400, I'm like, I don't know. And maybe I don't know. Not that I like doing this, but it's like one of those things like, I feel like I should be more impressed than I am. But I'm like, that's another one, I mean, I guess maybe it's also because kind of our originally, folks, we're not going to throw any names out there. We had a couple people we were trying to get on and just couldn't meet up schedules at the same time. We were already like a week and a half late, so we're like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah, it's like one of those ones. It was kind of like the holidays never really seemed to help with like scheduling anything to top it all off, and it was just to the point where it's like, well, whatever. We can always do. We can always have those guys on later, and then we'll just do it. Whatever. It's like one of those birthday parties that you throw and it's gonna be huge and it's gonna be ginormous, and then next thing you know, nobody shows up.
Yeah, and they're just a kid, like sitting at the far end of a birthday table with a crooked birthday hat. Like, nobody showed.
There was this awesome movie this year called Peppermint with Jennifer Garner that kind of came and went quickly, but it was like, that story was all about like, her daughter had a birthday party, you know what I mean? It was going to be the biggest thing ever or whatnot, and nobody showed up because like the douchey, Girl Scout leading lady decided to throw a party just to like and spite her, so it's like, well, whatever, we'll go to the carnival, it's gonna be great, and then when they go to the carnival, shit goes awry and a drive-by happens.
Oh shit, please tell me that they kill... I don't give a shit, I'm not gonna see this movie. Tell me...
Dude, you should see this movie. Don't say you shouldn't see this movie. This movie was fun.
I didn't say I should, I probably won't. I know myself. I just know I'm probably not gonna see it, but... Does she end up killing the lady who threw my daughter wouldn't be fucking dead if you didn't throw that fucking party on her birthday?
It comes back, like, the cool thing about this movie is, I mean, yeah, it is a normal, like, revenge movie, but it comes back, everything comes back around in, like, a glorifying way, So it is well worth it. I won't say what happens, because this is one of these ones you should check out. I mean, it's one of those movies that might not break, like, your top 10 list of this year, but it is damn near like one of those ones where you're like, it is totally an honorable mention type movie, if not even close to it, though. I don't know. I still will say it's actually probably better than a lot of movies this year anyway, so.
Oh, I might check it out eventually. That's probably a Netflix one for me. But yeah, I just like the idea of just like, oh, the drug. Turns out they weren't selling cookies this whole time. They were selling crack. They used to even realize it. The fucking bitchy Girl Scout mom was the one setting it all together.
Yeah, exactly.
What's all my fucking settings here? It's all echoey.
She was setting it up. Oh, I hate when that happens. That's what I always think about when with Google Hangouts. It gets to that, and then it's just like you gotta like almost take your headphones off when you're talking to somebody, or else you just hear yourself over and over.
It just has this weird sharp tone and my voice is already fucking irritating. So just want to turn that down a little bit. There we go. Anyway, so 400.
So if we're at 400, which Pokemon generation are we now? Because Ruby and Sapphire would have been 350, right? So now we're past that. So we're in the Diamond and Pearl section of our lifespan.
I guess. I don't really know.
That's a good question. Because like after a while, I know it's not like they always add like 150 or 100 each time. They're just like, oh, whatever. Here's another amount.
How many more do they add to Gold and Silver? Was that like they added like because that's wasn't
250.
Like that wasn't like, oh, here's a bunch of. It wasn't like, oh, just new ones and new ones only. They added. Oh man, this fucking thing, poor connection. Are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Nothing's changed on my end.
Hello?
What, did you totally like space out?
No, the thing just totally said poor connection. I'm gonna kill my camera here for good measure. There you go. Anyway. So, no, well, because Gold and Silver did the thing where just like, okay, it's old characters and new characters, and after a while, then they just say, okay, just new characters. We're not going to focus on any of the old characters. Some of the games did that, I think, right?
Yeah, like X and Y, I think, was the first time that they did that. And I actually kind of like that, because I know everybody kind of goes like, oh, it doesn't have, original characters in it, fuck this game. But I thought it was like, what made the X and Y kind of cool when it did that is it felt like you were playing a brand new Pokemon game for the first time again. It gave you that feeling of like almost picking up Red and Blue. And it was just like, you just didn't know what you were going to find around the corner. Because I think it's one of those ones, you do get a little bit of that biasness when like, you're like, well, there's a Sandshrew over there. I know Sandshrew. I could trust him. He's the kind of guy you can leave your money with on a weekend.
Why are you leaving your money with... Well, why are you leaving your money with this guy? I don't know. I just kind of trust him. He seems like he's not going to do nothing with it. Should he just take your money with you? Oh, he's Sandshrew. He's a good guy. He's good for it.
Yeah,
Well, they did the thing in the newer one, the Hawaiian one, where it was all like, oh, well, they found a way to make you give a shit about characters you did before. Well, now Rattata he's dark type or whatever. They just changed some of their types and mixed them together or whatever. So it's like, okay, that was kind of interesting. I didn't play that one, but I just saw they did that. But I will say, though, looking at Pokemon stuff now, it just makes me feel kind of old because I realize I was all amped up for Yellow, and I'll probably get with the next game that comes out for Switch. Not Yellow. Let's Go.
Yeah, let's go Yellow. Whatever. Fuck.
Let's go Yellow.
Let's go Pikachu, Eevee.
Yeah.
Let's go. I don't give a flying fuck.
Let's go and catch some fucking monsters and enslave them to do our bidding. No, but like I realized playing that game, there's other things that kind of come together which show me like how I kind of see how people get set in their like old timer ways to an extent, because just playing that I was like, okay, I know this, I like this, I'm comfortable with this. And then, you hear like somebody younger complaining about how simple it feels. And I know we talked about this before, it's a remix, so of course it's going to feel simple compared to the other ones. But I'm just like, you kids just don't understand, And almost to the point where you hear like, and I'm not going to go off on like a Pokemon tangent specifically, but it's like one of those things when you hear criticism from a younger person. This is how I know I'm getting older. When I hear criticism from a younger person, I can't help but feel immediately like, bitch, you haven't lived, even though in hindsight I'm 31, and that's still fairly young. But it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, 21-year-old, tell me how this thing should... Yeah, I just get that way now, because there's a time when you look up, like, film criticism, because there's a time when, like, film criticism or critiques or video essays weren't, like, oh, wow, they're speaking on shit I like, and now everyone does it.
It's like, whatever.
Yeah, well, there's a time where it wasn't super common. So like, oh, wow, they're speaking very passionately and going into detail about this video game or this movie or whatever. And now you look at it like, oh, anybody with a mic can do that. So now everything just seems like, I don't give a fuck what this 14-year-old has to say about fucking this. You just click on like, oh, an essay. Oh, fuck, it's some kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, that doesn't affect my buying power.
Now, Devil, I didn't play the first couple Devil May Cries. I mean, I was like in like the second grade when the first one came out. Like, oh, fuck off. Done.
Yeah, it's one of those ones. But you know what? It comes around is that, like, it's kind of like, I'll use this example of, like, the Pokemon that, like, I look at when I play, like, first-person shooters that are older ones, is that very, very rarely do you ever run across an older first-person shooter that doesn't, like, hold up. As long as it was a good game, like, at the time, you know what I mean? And the thing about it is even though you get all these advancements over the years, you get, you got your running, and you got, like, your different controls, and you got your more advanced physics and so on like that. It's funny because, like, you can go back and play a game, like, you go back into, like, the GameCube era and play those 007 games, or you could go back to, like, even the N64 and whip out some Turok or something like that, or even go back even farther and play, Doom off of, like, 32X or something like that. And the odd thing about it, I always notice, is that pretty much they always hold up because the parameters that those games were set in still work. Maybe you don't have a run button, but you didn't need the run button back then, you know what I mean? Or maybe you didn't have, kind of like the right stick aiming, but it wasn't necessary because they had a way for you to do it. Kind of like, GoldenEye and so on like that. It's weird how, like, that never to me interface. There's always gonna be somebody out there who probably doesn't like old, games in a sense. But for me, it's like they still always work. Like I was playing Medal of Honor Underground the other day because I found a copy of it again. and I was like, man, I haven't played this game in years, and this game was pure amazing back in then. I whipped that disc back in, and it's like, I jumped back into it like it was yesterday. It was like, dude, this game holds up so well, plays awesome. I mean, granted, it's got PlayStation 1 graphics, but that, once again, doesn't bother me. It actually controls impressively well, and once again, it just totally works in its own way because that's the parameters it was set for,
Well, I think that's one of those things, we grew up with it, so that's probably the reason why we're able to go back. Where someone who didn't grow up would have trouble going back and playing something like GoldenEye. And there are some games you go back and they just don't hold up, and I think that, like you said, there are those that do, but I still think even the ones that do, they don't always, like, I can't imagine a kid going back and really getting into, like, the first Mario Brothers when he has new Super Mario Brothers or Mario Brothers or Super Mario Maker. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, like, I could totally play that game and enjoy it still. But after, it's kind of like, I think a kid, like, you put Star Wars A New Hope in front of a kid or Guardians of the Galaxy, and kid's never seen either or. I think he's going to like Guardians of the Galaxy more just because it's newer, it's shinier, and it pulls a lot from Star Wars. So when he goes to that, it's like, it's kind of slower and it's kind of a little bit more toned down. What's going on here?
Yeah, there is always that. I think, if you get somebody who is a pure, like, retro kind of artist, gamer, who enjoys the past, I think that, like, they would probably be able to maybe enjoy those things in a certain way. Because the way I sort of look at it is, like, in a sense, that's what Atari was to, like, our generation. It's like, technically, we didn't even grow up in the Atari era. But, I mean, even though that was, like, the first system I ever played, so it was always there, because I guess being poor, it's like Atari, it's like, well, you don't have a Nintendo or a Sega, but right off the bat, but there's an Atari over here you can go play. Oh, sweet.
That kid who just, like, the PlayStation 3 just came out and he just
got a PS1.
Like, the finalized PlayStation 1, like the sleek one that's small right when PlayStation 2 came out.
Mm-hmm. That's who I was for many years. I was always the one who got the system kind of like right as something else was coming out. That's sort of when I got the other one. But
time to play catch up.
Yeah, I know. Nowadays it's like, I have the power and I will capture them all. Like, the gotta catch them all Pokemon philosophy. But that's sort of like how Atari was. I mean, everybody that I knew was able to go back and really experience Atari in the 90s like it was, something really cool. But I think retro game, maybe it was also at that time period, we just didn't have the choices that we have nowadays. Because that's, I think, the other thing that you kind of forget. It's the similar argument as like the anime thing that, like, didn't matter what it was, you watched it and you loved it in the 90s because you were just grateful for whatever you got. I think it was kind of almost the same way of video games too. And that's why we could enjoy like every single system. Commodore 64, Amiga, Apple II, like, didn't matter what it was all awesome. And I think, once again, it's just due to, like, how many choices you had. Because even by 1995, I mean, granted, you had all kinds of ridiculous systems out at that point. At the end of the day, it still isn't that much compared to nowadays, You
mentioned the anime thing. I, just for the hell of it, like, because I see this My Hero Academia thing everywhere.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me see what this thing's all about. I have a Hulu account now. I watched the first 2 episodes, and I didn't hate it. I'm like, I just can't fucking get into this thing. But I know if I saw it as a kid, I would have totally loved it. And short and simple of it, I mean, most people listening probably already know what it is, but if they don't, basically the world, it's kind of like X-Men to an extent. Like, the whole world is just naturally starting to have superpowers, but it's also kind of satirical in the way. Some of the powers are, like, cool, some of them are... it's like the people that don't have powers are more of a rarity. There's very few of those actual people. Main kid loves superheroes and he loves powers, but he doesn't have any. He's like one of the only ones, only kids in the school that doesn't. And people are trying to, you can get a job being a superhero and you can be sponsored. So in that aspect, maybe it goes more at that, because that in itself sounds interesting.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sweet when you sell it like that.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, when you put it that way, yeah, that does sound interesting. But the first 2 episodes, and I get it, it's the opening. Maybe I got to watch more of it. But the first 2 episodes are just totally the whole, like, I'm the only one at school, and there's my school bully who's so cartoonish and so mean to me, and he's going to be... And, like, just the whole, like, just this kid who's just like, I'm the best in the class. Like, that whole Gary Ash dynamic, kinda. Mm-hmm. But only this guy's just like a fucking, he's talking about he wants to be a hero, but he's more of a villain. And he's going to become a villain, because if you look at the box art on the the thumbnail or whatever, you see like one of those split views where it's like, okay, here's all the heroes on one side, all the villains on one side, that guy's on the left side. Like, all right, so I know where he's going eventually. You know? But it's one of those things, like, watching it, I was just like, yeah, this is kind of going by a lot of the standard anime trope shit, and it's just kind of hard for me to get into it. I don't know. There's a time I know I would have loved this thing, but now I'm just like, I guess I'm getting older, because we talked about this before, like, oh, I grew up on this one, so that's why I can take it. But since it's essentially the same thing, just different packaging, and it came out a little later, I'm like, not for me.
Well, and I think that those, the way that animes and mangas have always been designed is that they pick like a specific audience, a specific age range, and that's who it's for. And I think that's, as a Western audience, you kind of, you look at a lot of shows and it's like, you pick something like Batman. Well, Batman's designed for practically everybody. You know what I mean? Like, they don't design, I mean, every once in a while they'll get like more of a more kiddier version of Batman or a more adult version of Batman. But for the most part, Batman's designed for the most widest range audience. You know what I mean? It seems like male, female, it doesn't matter if you're 10 years old or if you're, 75. Batman is designed pretty well for that. Where, like, in Japan, it's like, no, we get specifically into, like, what does a 10 to 14-year-old boy like? Not girl, boy. We got the girl show over here, but this is just for the boy, and I think it's just one of those ones you feel like as an adult, like, oh, there's a new anime, I should check this out, but you're like, well, you're not in the 10 to 14 category anymore, so it's technically not going to work for you.
Well, it's also, we talked about this before, they do that thing where, well, this is technically for adults because they swear and there's a little bit of blood. Like, no, just PG in Japan is PG-13. That's like the only real thing. This is still a show totally aimed at kids. Their kids are just allowed to watch more, like a little bit more violence and a little bit more sexuality. It's not a big deal there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's just comparing the two together, kind of the Western side and like, the Eastern, and just like the different ways that they kind of go about it. But I always think that's the smartest way to do it. It's just like the Japanese way is like, no, we put down exactly what a boy at the age of 12 totally like wants in life, what he totally likes. That's where Pokemon, I think, has always been so dialed in, because that represents the 10-year-old boy or girl like super well. You know what I mean? It's like they like collecting things at that age. You know what I mean? They want to kind of go out on like adventures around their house. You know what I mean? They want to to be the best at like whatever skill that they kind of are going after. It kind of like brings that together. They like animals. You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things coming together, like, and I think just getting that dialed in just to the psyche perfectly. Or Sailor Moon's a perfect example too. It's like, that's what, pretty much what, what a young girl's always looking for. She wants to be, with her cool friends, and they got secret powers that nobody knows about, and they're always like chasing after some guy that, wears a tuxedo.
6 years older than him.
Yeah, it's like way older than them, but that's okay.
He has a license!
Yeah, exactly. And a cape.
Wasn't that the thing? Wasn't Tuxedo Mask? Maybe I'm wrong here, but weren't they like 14 or 15? Tuxedo Mask was like 20 or some bullshit.
He's probably not that old. He's probably like 17. I think he's that old.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Well, and I think in Sailor Moon, it's like they're only like 13. It's like they look like they're like 16, but they're only like 13. It's kind of weird.
There's one thing that got really fucking weird. I acknowledged how fucking weird it was as a kid, but there's when the little pink girl came in, who was actually their daughter from the future. Mm-hmm. When she came in and she started hanging around the Tuxedo Mask guy, and Sailor Moon's like, hey, let's go hang out. He's like, no, we can't. Why? I'm hanging out with this little girl with pink hair. And it was just like, oh, okay. And she was like, that little bitch with the pink hair is stealing my man. Would just be like, oh yeah, we're just hanging out. We're just cooking dinner. We're going to the park. He's like, I'm sorry, I can't. I just need to spend time with this pink girl. And then it was just like, what the why? And then you find out, which even makes it a little bit more weird on top of that, like, that's the daughter of them and from the future, and she knows who her parents are, but for some reason she's like, I want to spend time with my daddy. Fuck you, Ma. Fuck you. It's like, what was that? Like, I'm just a little thrown off by that whole dynamic.
I know. Obviously that like affected somebody at some point in time.
Someone had some issues they're trying to work out. Like, I love my dad, but fuck my mom. I don't give a shit. Mini Moon, where's that coming from? Fuck you, Mom. Go to my retirement. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. She went like evil, just like. Here's the thing. I remember it just because it came on before Pokemon, but I remember the whole thing of like, I was like, God, fuck this kid, because I remember she got turned evil. Why? Like, your parents don't love you. Well, why not? Remember that time when you were running and you tripped and you fell and they told you not to fall and not to chase the frog or whatever the fuck? And like, you're right, fuck them, the world's gonna burn! That's all it took? Yeah, that's all it fucking took.
So sometimes that's just how it is. It's just that weird thing. I don't know.
And people can say like, oh, well, you know, children are temperamental and they can flip on a dime. I don't know about that fucking quick, you know. Like, yeah, they gave her a fucking mansion and a whole fucking superpowers, but God forbid, like, oh, we told you not to chase the fucking frog, but you chased the fucking frog, so that's why you fell. It's fucking raining. Use your fucking head. Maybe they talked to her that way. Like, smacked her upside the back of the head, like, you stupid bitch! Maybe then I gotta get it.
Give her some old-fashioned American, child education here.
Here on the fucking moon, the Moon Kingdom, or wherever the fuck they were.
Oh yeah, they did go to the moon. Almost like Power Rangers.
Wasn't that the thing? Like, there was the different kingdoms, and then, like, the moon was the big special one, and then, like, oh, all our spirits will send them to Earth or some shit.
Yeah, it definitely went interdimensional, or not interdimensional, intergalactic at some point, as that show kind of went on. But, yeah. I don't know, just those weird little things you would never have questioned as a child, because once again, you were just grateful for whatever you got.
Here I am, like, fucking 17, 18 years later. Like, what the fuck was with the fucking pink girl?
I don't know, just that weird thing. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that one. But it's dialed in for a 13-year-old girl, as that show is, because obviously all this stuff will relate.
That's true.
Technically, it's dialed in for a 13-year-old boy as well, too. It's that weird kind of, like, it goes kind of both ways.
I was talking to my girlfriend. I remember she watched Pokémon. I think she watched Sailor Moon, and I think we were just talking more about, like, oh, I remember it was just one of those things. It made me happy because I realized we both hated Ash. It's like, we both hated Ash? Oh, thank you.
Well, is there anybody out there who, like, really is like, dude, no, I'm really on Ash's side, like, the whole way? I mean, granted, everybody's like, I wish I was in Ash's shoes so I can make him make better decisions. But
I think that
beyond
Ash was
though,
a vessel, but Ash was meant to be a vessel for the viewer, but it was just distracting by how fucking stupid he was.
I guess it's probably made for that one kid who's like, oh, I always fuck up every single day, and it's just like, they're like, okay, Ash is gonna fuck up on everything he's gonna fuck up on, because here's the thing, every kid's screwed up at some point, right? But how are we gonna capture every single mess up? Well, this character will have them all in one. So you know what I mean? Just because you're a kid that trips over your own shoelaces, and you get bullied and you can't seem to win at any sporting event, and you can't do this, and somehow, some way though, you still seem to get a trophy at the end of the day.
I'll say this, thinking back on it, I hated Gary, not so much for the show, but just for the game. Because I was like, fuck that guy, I'm gonna straight up murder this bitch.
Hey, at least Gary's getting shit done, though. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, exactly. No, in the game, because, that's even more of a, your character is who you make him, because he doesn't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
So that was like, fuck you, man, I'm gonna prove you wrong, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. And then in the show, Gary, it was just like, no, I empathize with Gary, because, it was almost like, I almost said it was like a Karate Kid thing, but then again, there's no point where like, sweep the leg, Gary. That never happened. So, because Gary always fought fair and square, so it's not the situation with that. But I guess there's that whole thing. Gary near the end of when I got near to, I can't fucking talk today. When I was kind of getting done with the show, Gary was just starting to change and actually develop. But that's also when I was like, I think I'm done with the show.
Yeah, and I was starting to change, develop too, and move on to other things.
It's like, I'm 12 years old, I'm a man now, can't be watching these pokey shows.
Gotta go out and get a job at the factory.
Give me my 8-track and my Bruce Springsteen album on it.
Yes, we're gonna start getting our union wages and cashing in our 401k.
Can't spend this $8 on a Pokemon cards. I gotta get a can of chew now.
Yeah, gotta be a man. But it's almost like that. Almost really, as a parent, you'd be like, okay, here, you do not want to be Ash. You actually want to be the Gary in life. Yes, he does look kind of like a douche, but here's the thing: he's successful. You don't want to be Ash and stumble, because here's the thing: in real life, if you trip over that many times, you ain't getting anywhere.
I don't know what happened in the show with Ash and Gary as they went on. Because I remember right as I was checking out of the show is right when they finished up the Orange Islands and they're going to go into Gold and Silver. That's when I checked out. And I want to say it was either right when Ash got back from the Orange Islands, he fought Gary, and Gary was no longer a douche. I was like, okay, Gary changed, but nothing else with the show's fucking changed, really. And then, actually, I think you might find this funny. Apparently, they took Brock out of the show because they thought Americans would find him offensive, like just a stereotype, just with the, really squinty eyes. But they're like, oh no, Americans actually want Brock back. Fuck this dude who paints and traces shit.
Yeah, that kid was Tracy or whatever his name was.
Yeah, fuck Tracy.
Yeah,
fuck this long-haired hippie fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Brock was like, to me, I felt like Brock is actually more of the American character than anybody else. I mean, yeah, he's got the squinty eyes, but that to me makes him more American. People are like, look, he looks just Japanese. Look at him. That's exactly how I always thought they looked. He's like, he's a dude who's like, look, he's got a nice tan. He's walking around. He's always cooking shit. He breeds Pokemon and probably jerks off while doing it. Just look at him. He's always hitting on every chick that goes by. It's the ultimate American character.
Jerking off on animals, yeah, while hitting on chicks, sure.
Yeah, shit. He's not judgmental.
The thing with Brock though is just like because I found myself liking Brock more than like Brock and Misty. I like them way more than Ash, and it was more of just kind of like because the whole thing when you get we said this before on the show. But Brock was almost kind of like, all right, this 18-year-old guy hanging out with like this 14 and 16, these two 14 and 16-year-old kids.
Literally, you mean a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old?
Is that how old like
Ash
Misty
is 10
was?
years old and Misty's 12.
Oh, right. Well,
so that seems even weirder.
Makes it a little bit awkward, a little bit more awkward then, yeah. No, but like just hanging out with these two kids while he's always looking to get pussy, and he'd be like, "I want to get my next badge." Like, dude, you realize this girl's fucking into you? She could buy a new fucking bike.
Yeah, she got money. I know she dresses
she comes
poor,
from,
but she ain't poor.
Sure, she has this whole Raggedy Ann look going on, but trust me, she comes from money. Her sisters run a fucking gym in Celadon City. Have you seen the real estate there?
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those upper
How many
class towns.
It's one of those towns where everything has a swimming pool in it.
Yeah.
I know water's their thing, but come on.
Not like Pewter City. Believe me, ain't nobody owned a pool of Pewter City.
Pewter City was just like, where are you all going? To the rock quarry? Where are you going after that?
To the bar.
To the bar. That's all we got.
Here. I go there. Me and my Geo dude, we mine for gold all day long. We don't get to keep that gold, but we sure mine for it all day long. And then we go back, and go to the bar and repeat the process until I hopefully either retire or die. That's just how it is.
The only band there is what's his name? What's the Bruce Springsteen ripoff? What's that dude's name?
With the Bruce Springsteen ripoff.
What's that guy's name? I forget. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name. We always talk shit on him.
God, who's the Bruce Springsteen ripoff? I'm trying to think now.
Let me tell you about Jack and Diane.
John Mellencamp.
John Mellencamp. Like they don't even have like a Bruce Springsteen cover band. They just have a John Mellencamp cover band there.
Yeah. I mean, they're not that good, but it's better than nothing.
We take it. I mean, they haven't replaced the jukebox yet. It's not in the funding for this place.
Exactly, and that's what Pewter said.
We can't get Wi-Fi out here.
Like a family man. Look, he's got like 9 relatives that like he has to take care of. You know what I mean?
Like the whole thing, like, and plus, because we're right by this mountain, and we're also right by this forest. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so we don't really get good cell phone reception or when Wi-Fi comes out here. Fucking Sonic or Xfinity ain't coming this way, so shit. I mean, all we got is this John Mellencamp cover band.
I love how Sonic's brought back because I really never hear that one too often anymore.
Oh, that one's all over San Francisco.
Do they still keep that one? God, it just like it felt like you used to see ads for it and everything like that, and then they're like, "Oh, we know our place. We know we got our one region left."
Oh, it's all over the place out here, but it sucks. This podcast is proof of that. So.
Yeah, well, it's probably not cabled internet. It's probably telephone internet, if I had to guess, like DSL or something. So it only can max out at a certain amount.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, like I'm just thinking now about like Pewter City's definitely a working man's town. Like that's the place you can't. They don't. they don't have like an art fund for the school there. It's just kind of like they just barely get by. Like the pride of the town is the football team, either the football team or the gym. Those are the two prides of the town. Everything else, yeah.
Well, and since it's Japanese, it's probably more of a soccer team. So it's
baseball team. Maybe.
So you just or a baseball team too. There you go. There or a fishing group. One or the other.
There's no water though. There's no fucking water. They have to go to Celadon for that.
No, that's true. There is no water there. So then there's that little like river that runs right next to it on the way out of town.
Well, that's the swimming hole, but we don't go in there. No, that just carries you away. Yeah, Phyllis was in there trying to catch a magic carp the other day. I said, no, never saw him again. God bless his soul.
Just one of those things, you go for a swim with old Mary down by the river, and next thing you know, it carries you away, and you never get to see Mary again, and it's just life. Life of Pewter City.
Or it's just... So I like how just Pewter City just turned into this Bruce Springsteen song.
Just like,
It's like, we gotta get out of this town.
So they put in a science research lab, but do you see, we don't get any of that tax revenue from it. It all goes back to Cinnabar Island somehow, some way.
It's privatized. They said you need him. He got a degree. Like, who the fuck around here has a degree to get into that place? This is a working man's town.
The kids don't even go to school here.
These fancy college boys coming in with their white shirts ain't never used the Geodude to crush a rock in their life. Ain't never used push on nothing.
No, they don't know. They don't even know the tactics of strength.
They don't even know. They don't even know. They never even use cut on nothing.
No, they've never seen a Machamp evolve into a Machoke. It's a beautiful sight, it is. It's something all of us look forward to. It's one of the few things we get to look forward to.
When he says it, I just imagine just all these old people just in unison just jerking off. I'm choking, man.
Dun 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 dun.
It's nothing gay about it. It's out of appreciation for nature.
Yeah, just like, don't let us near one of them Clefairies or something like that, You get a boy who's been working in the mines for all his life, you put him next to a Clefairy, bad things are bound to happen.
That's why they're really hard to find in the cave.
Yeah.
That's why they're so deep in there. It takes a minute to find those fucking things.
Yeah, they know how to hide well. They got reason for it.
Look, there's only 3 women in town. I don't blame them.
There's Jane, Mary, and other Mary.
Other Mary, she got a peg leg. So, I mean, that's like if you're a whole keg in, Even with only 3 women in town, you still like, nah, I'll go home and jerk off tonight. I'm good.
Yeah. I'm fine, I can stroke my onyx. It's okay.
I know it's been 2 years for me, but still, I can wait just a little longer. All right? Don't worry about that, Mary. I'm good. Thank you, though. Hobble on out of here now.
See, that's why Brock's that's why he's the relatable character that he needs to go travel around the world.
He's like, God, there's no fucking... Oh my God, there's more women outside this fucking town. I don't have to... I think it was also like Brock's just like... I like how the whole thing with Brock's dad was... He's like, look, I went off to become a Pokemon trainer, but I just couldn't do it, so I've been watching from afar and watching my son raise my other sons and 3 daughters.
Because
it's making me sad because I know those daughters ain't going anywhere, and they're one day going to be groomed to become the next Mary and Mary 2 and Sue.
I know that's not the names I gave them, but they'll change to that. That's just what happens in this town.
New woman, you're Mary 3.
Well, see, that's the other thing too. Is Brock realized too. He's related to like 90% of people in Pewter City as well.
Is it like all the fucking I think it's like something like a bunch of the fucking animals in New Zealand are all just like fucking inbred because they won't have nowhere else to go and they're all just on this one spot.
Yeah, I know. It's really not that big of an island.
Yeah. So he's just like, oh man, I'm running out of options here. Shit. I wasn't born to be to live in this town. I'm a rabbit. I gotta spread.
You know, spread your wings and fly.
I'm a rabbit. I gotta spread my jeans. I can't remember. I gotta spread. What? I gotta spread.
Got man spread.
No. That's also funny because that dude just like, look, I've just been watching my own son raise children from bushes for the last couple years. I could have jumped in at any point, but I've been watching. And rather than helping my son out, I'm going to help out this kid who I've never seen. And he's never seen me, but for some reason, I'm still wearing this beard. And then, because that's the thing, he came in, like, he ripped the beard off. It's me. He just looks like a taller version of Brock when he comes out.
He's got, like, 2 little wrinkle lines by his eyes just to show that he's older.
He's distinguished, that's how. And everything he could have done, he's all like, I could have just come up to my son and tell him I love him and I'm sorry for everything and try and do this and try to do that. But instead, he's all just going to watch from a distance like, yo, I'm going to tell you how to make that guy's life a little harder. First, we got to take this fucking rat thing and strap it to a water wheel.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got this job the other day that said, hey, if I could turn some water, I could get some cash, but, you know, I ain't doing it myself, but this Pokemon will come in handy.
So this kid, I need you to stand on and walk on this thing for hours on end, okay?
I mean, yeah. I know I was paid to do it, but you look young and nimble.
No, young. That's the whole thing. He was just like, shit, that was my job. I didn't think about that, because, yeah, he talked him into pushing the water wheel thing and having electricity generated in the Pikachu. So now I'm just thinking, like, wow, that was... He's like, I got it. I got a scheme, but it's got to all pay off right now.
Just need a stupid 10-year-old boy.
It's easy to goad into shit. You challenge him about, like, you can't do it. Yes, I can! Alright, then go into that fucking haunted mansion, but leave everything here. Really? Yeah, everything here. Only way you can really do it. Okay! He's gonna fucking die.
Just bully him into doing whatever you want.
I feel like you could just bully Ash into anything. Just tell him he can't do it. And somehow he will. Not through skill, but someone would feel bad for him. Like, oh, well, you know what? You technically lost, but, your Pikachu smiled and you held the door open for me on my way in, so here's a badge.
Well, you know what Ash really is at the end of the day, and this sort of relates to an older episode if anybody does remember, but he is like the whining Willy character's like mascot at the end of the day, because that is almost like the exact Ash. That is the target audience for Ash, is a whining Willy at school. You know, as we said before, you got a jerk-off Johnny, who's mostly that poor kid who's always doing crazy things, like a Kenny character from South Park. Well, Whining Willie's the other kid who's, you know, no matter how he tries, he seems to always slip on his face, no matter where he goes. You know, he's got friends, but, you know...
They're more there to watch him fall down the stairs and point and laugh.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, they want to be the best of friends, but they just go, like, he just sets himself up left and right for a joke, and, you know, after a while, it's just too easy to take the... you know, the proactive position and just go with it.
Here's the thing, dude. It's like, I don't want to make fun of him, but of all the flavors, he really chose the pink popsicle. How can I let this slide by? It's 1996.
Yeah, it's this ain't gonna work out, you know what I mean?
Now you can grab a pink popsicle. No one thinks anything of it.
No, you could totally do that nowadays. But dude, in 1996,
and make hard eye contact while you do it, and people just applaud you. But now but back then in 96, like, dude, you're just opening yourself up for a joke. Don't let the jocks see you.
Yeah, so especially don't let the jocks see. I mean, everybody's
there's a lot of pent up closeted rage in there.
Fun of you, but yeah, you gotta be careful there. But that's exactly who like Ash represents the whining willies of, you know, the schoolyard more than anybody else. You know, the kids that, like, they try their best, but boy, do they just set themselves up left and right. I mean, so much so that the yard duty's cracking jokes on them.
Just like, look, we're pretty broke, but we're not Billy's mom broke. Oh, sorry, Billy. And leave those food stamps at home. Lunch lady gets to get paid.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just one of those kids just to get made fun of. You know, where it's just not panning out for him.
That's the teacher saying that shit.
Does Brock's dad finally take over as a father after Brock decides to leave? That's what I thought. I couldn't remember exactly how that episode ended. I was thinking, like, I think that's what happened. Or did he just go, like, oh, good, Brock's gone. I can go back out to the woods. Mary too. You're taking over now. You're now the father. But I'm a woman. No, you're a man now.
You're the oldest.
Here, put on this pair of Wranglers, put on your cowboy boots, and get ready to go to the mine. You ever see that Mulan movie? You know how she pretended to be a man? Well, that's your job now, but you never let anybody know. You never let go of that secret.
Same thing like the coal miner's daughter. That too.
Yeah, see, I went down to the GNC and I got you some testosterone pills. Here, start taking these.
It'll help you.
You're gonna need that muscle so you can lift the rocks with your Geodude right by your side.
Oh, one more thing. Just throws on a tape deck of like John Mellencamp.
Here's a John Mellencamp one. I hear that John Denver cover band might be coming to town. But till then, you're gonna have to do with this.
Sorry, I'm taking the Bruce Springsteen Nebraska one with me. And Darkness on the Edge of Town. You know the second his dad came in, he's just like, all right, I'm going to be a dad now. You go live your life, Brock. He says, okay, I need a minute. You know, he went into his room, he just closed the door, closed the blinds, and just like quietly wept of joy, and then slowly put on like, you know, Badlands by Bruce Springsteen. Like, gotta escape from these Badlands. Like that song.
Just totally did, just like had a moment or whatever.
Yeah, and just like his whole life, just like, I'm gonna travel with this 10-year-old boy and his yellow rat. It's coming true. It's finally happening.
You know, could you just imagine if you went out in life and you just like followed a 10-year-old boy and just be like, I just want to see where this goes. I know that sounds creepy as fuck when you say it like that, but like, but no, just think about it. Like, let's say it like in a more like let's take the creepiness out of it, but it's more just like, I'm gonna follow this 10-year-old boy and just see where his life takes him. Like, because God knows what, maybe he will actually like conquer something.
Like maybe this is just like a science experiment more than anything else. Like I just wanted to see what he does, all right? And I like there's even that point where Brock for a minute was like, you know what? I'm going to settle down. I've been chasing all the Nurse Joys, all the Officer Jennies. I keep on getting pepper spray, but it doesn't matter because my eyes are always closed anyway. So I'm going to sit down for a minute. Professor Oak's new assistant or whatever, she's an older woman, but fuck, she knows what she's doing. She's a scientist, so she knows her biology. Yeah. I'm hanging out here for a minute. Yeah, kids, go have fun with the artist guy at those islands or whatever the fuck it is you're gonna do. Go shoot targets instead of actually making these things fucking fight each other. All right, I'm just gonna be over here. And then they come back, and he's just like, yeah, I gotta go. I'll come back with you. Why? I got a restraining order.
Yeah, one of those ones like, I need to be out of the country for a while.
I was gonna wait for the heat to blow over. You know, it's the one time I'm actually running away from Officer Jenny.
Shit, you're going to Johto? Let's go. Hurry up. You gotta cross the fucking waterfall to get back. She ain't coming down that.
We gotta once we that's out of their jurisdiction once we pass the border.
What happened to Tracy? Nothing. He must have fell in the water and, you know, went down that Pewter City River.
Yeah. I think you're like, you don't have that Lapras anymore, do you? No, that's what I thought.
No, Lapras had to make a sacrifice. We understood, you know. We've both been down that path before, and you know, we knew this time was coming. You know, remember when you set Butterfree free? Well, it was kind of like that, except for Lapras wasn't. Lapras was taking on a mission that there was no coming back from.
Oh, like you let set Charizard free for some stupid fucking reason.
Yeah, like this.
You dumb fuck. I mean, I understand why. In the hindsight of writing, it's like, all right, well, we got to make room for new characters to come in the show. But it was like, as soon as this thing got good and started to obey him, they're like, okay, bye. Like, oh, you dumb fuck.
Well, it's like Charizard, really, it's like, okay, Pikachu's always used as, like, the mascot, but who's really, like, the other mascot of Pokemon is Charizard. He's, like, the manly mascot of Pokemon. You know what I mean? He's, like, the one that everybody wishes they were, you know, at the end of the day. Because no matter what, who doesn't like Charizard? If somebody says they don't like Charizard, they're just saying that just to not be in the same page as everybody else. But at the end of the day, it's like, Charizard represents, like, everything awesome.
Well, he's just a fucking dragon. I mean, you don't even... Alright, because every so often you'll look at something like, okay, that looks like something of Pokemon. This is just a badass-looking dragon. So it's just like, hey, man, it's you know, I mean, Blastoise looks cool, Venusaur looks cool,
yeah.
Charizard, it's like... I don't know, Charizard's always my go-to.
It's like it's just one of those ones. It's just that cool. I mean, like sometimes it's like you feel like you want to choose something else because you just want to be different or something. Have be your own unique butterfly in life. But at the end of the day, you can't deny that a fire-breathing dragon is not the coolest thing.
I just like the idea of like these 10-year-old kids running around with like these fucking weapons of mass destruction as pets.
Yeah, exactly. Just danger. Well, it's like whenever I think of like the Chinese like calendar, whoever put that together, their birthday was the year of the dragon. There is no.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! There's no way around it. That's how it went.
Nothing even gets close to being as cool as a dragon on that thing. It's like there's not even like other. It's like not like there's like Bigfoot on there or like some wildfire.
It's the year of the unicorn, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Gigantopithecus. Where does he come from originally? China. So it's not out of the question for Bigfoot to be on the Chinese New Year.
Well, here's the thing. Well, okay, that it was just one of those things like, bro, what's your birthday? Like 2 AD. Fuck, that's my birthday too. Oh, let's make it a fucking dragon. Yeah, fuck yeah, bro. And they're making this fucking thing. They're getting all amped up.
And then they're like, oh, dude, what about Chang downtown? Yeah, dude, he was born like 3 years later. Like, yeah, dude, that guy's a fucking asshole. You know what? He's gonna be the rat.
He's a fucking rat. Yeah, fuck Chang. What about Yin? Yin? Oh, Yin's cool, but it's like he's a different birthday than us. What's the next best thing? Tiger. Yeah, Tiger's fucking awesome. Yeah. I'll give that to
What about Little Wang? Oh yeah, Little Wang. Yeah, he's kind of like our younger little. He's kind of like us, but he's just younger. We'll make him the snake. Snakes are cool still, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems a little shifty. We'll make him a snake, and then they get to something neutral, like. Hey, so what about Frank? Well, what
about old Conqueror Frank?
The one white guy in town.
Yeah.
Well,
he's always coming around spreading his Jesus on us.
He's always trying to throw crosses at us. And
like he's in Castlevania or some shit.
Just throwing crosses at people.
He swings on by on a whip. I don't know what that guy, don't let him near any of the rice wine. Shit.
Well, you know what? I mean, I want to give him something bad, but the thing about Frank, he has the same birthday as Zhao. Fuck. Well, we got to break even on this one. How do you feel about dogs? Oh, dogs can go either way. You can call someone like...
You can eat a dog or you can pet a dog.
It goes either way here. So yeah, all right.
That's just how I feel. It's like, whenever I look at that calendar, I go, it's either one of two things. I feel like they should either... have not had the dragon so that it doesn't seem so like overbalanced or underbalanced, I guess. Though granted, I'm the year of the dragon, so I'm not fucking complaining, but or
I'm a fucking rabbit, so
you should go to China one of these days. But you know what? I'm blaming all my problems on being this year of the fucking rabbit thing.
Well, rabbit's not. Well, the rabbit I think is a neutral one.
Yeah,
I think rabbit's neutral. It's not like a fucking. I don't know. It's not a rat. It's not a
boar.
I don't know. Like what?
Well, the boar is kind of cool, I guess.
I don't know. It depends. It'd be like you if you're like a guy who works out all the time, be like, yeah, man, you're the boar. I get it.
But if you're an overweight police officer, you probably hate being the boar.
I don't want to be a boar. I also wonder if you're
the Chinese
if
just
girl,
knew where I was going. I was born a pig. I became a pig. I look like a pig.
I just embraced my destiny.
The older I get, the more I start looking like a character off of Duke Nukem 3D.
And for some reason, I got these two teeth that just keep growing upwards. I should see a dentist, but fuck it. No, there's also got me thinking, like, what about, like, you have a girl who's, like, born on the year of, like, the rat or the boar? Does that just kill her self-esteem, or does that just make her go, like, no, fuck that, I'm gonna prove these motherfuckers wrong? Next thing, she's, like, an Instagram model, like Amanda Kearney or some shit?
Well, you never know. It could go that way. Well, technically, there's not like there's, like... I know we think of it like an animal. They all have their own, like, pros and cons to every single one, even though I really want to say the dragon has very little cons. I want to say the dragon's, like... It's like, oh, well, what's his con? Well, he might be a little bit cocky and overzealous, but beyond that...
I want to say I read the dragon thing, and it kind of matched up with Vegeta's personality.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's literally like... So, like, whatever, cons Vegeta has, which is, like, kind of few and far between, You know,
he's just full of himself.
yeah,
and
he's kind of a dick, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like he also is one of the best guys ever, so he gets shit done. So I guess he's earned being a dick.
Yeah. So that's the dragon. So that's one of those things when you hear like, I don't remember. I mean, Chinese zodiac is cooler than what's
the Greek one?
The Greek one, because the whatchamacallit, higher, like, fuck, what's it actually called again?
Oh, Zodiac?
Isn't there another name other than the Zodiac, or I thought it was something else? Maybe not. Well, mine is the Gemini. Is it Gemini? I don't know. No, Capricorn. Capricorn. And Capricorn's like a goatfish. I don't know what the fuck that is. What part of, like... It's like upper body goat, bottom part fish. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? How's this thing get by? Like, I have no purpose.
See, I got Scorpio in that one too. So you combine Scorpio and Dragon together. Cool. I feel like, dude, that's just like a fucking supervillain right there. It's like, that's badass, you know. And that Scorpio's another one that really doesn't have it. Like the negatives of Scorpio is always like, oh well, you know, full of himself. You know, it's just like small things like that. It's like, oh well, that's not really that bad. Some of the other ones, it's like, you know, he never gets shit done. Always slips and falls on your face. It's just like, well, God, that's not helping me out. Yeah, you know, well. You chose to be, I don't know, whatever these other fucking ones are. Can't remember exactly. You got Gemini, Capricorn,
there's
Taurus,
Cancer.
Cancer just doesn't sound good this day and age.
Well, I'm wondering. Here's just me guessing. I'm totally fucking guessing, and people might say, "Ryan, you're a fucking idiot," but I've not looked into this. This is just me assuming. I'm guessing the word Cancer comes in the aspect of like, man, look at these fucking crabs, or they called them maybe cancer. It's hard to get rid of these fucking things. So I think
it's like
maybe
a cancer.
It's well, no, I'm thinking it's like one of those things like that's what they called crabs back then, cancer. And there's like, can't get rid of these fucking things. And then you say, man, this thing killing you, it's like a fucking crab that you just can't get rid of. Oh, they used to call that cancer. Oh, okay. I think that's almost how it got there, because you see a picture, you're like, I'm a cancer, and you see a picture of a crab. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they fucking you see pictures of like beaches, just these things multiplying. Maybe they're just like, oh man, we got another cancer invasion. These things coming in, like fucking clipping us while we fucking sleep. Fuck these things.
Yeah, it's just like when you go to spend the night at Mike's house and you sleep on his couch, and next thing you know, you wake up with crabs all over you.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, shit. I mean, I don't mean to sleep over there, but sometimes you get a little bit too into the old, you know, rye, or you get a little bit too old wine there, and you're just saying, you know, next thing happens, you wake up naked on Steve's couch, or Steve.
Believe it or not,
God, I can't remember.
Bad being naked around a bunch of crabs. Just saying that right now. Yeah. One Nut Willie. Well, we don't need to explain how that happened, do we?
I mean, he likes to say it was a lobster to make the story seem a little bit more dignified.
So more impressive.
But I don't know, maybe it's one of them kinglers, one of those giant evolved crabs walking around.
Fucking kingler. No, the crabs, crabs just kind of freak me out. I'm even kind of at the point, like, I don't know. I feel kind of weird just eating them, not out of a like, oh, humane thing, but I just feel weird eating them because essentially they're giant bugs. They're just giant water bugs when it gets down to it. So the idea of like seeing like this gross like thing like foaming at the mouth, these little pincer things, like that is getting fucking eaten. I don't know, it's just one of those, you know what I mean?
Well, if you think about it, like think of like a scorpion was about the exact same size of a crab. It would probably be like the exact same like body style, you know what I mean?
I'm wondering if
you crack open a scorpion, you know, just eat out its like, you know, meat in there and everything like that, and take the, you know, its tail and stab your buddy with it. Be like, oh, you got fucking poison.
Like, dude, the thing where you cover his mouth.
It's okay, like, dude. It's boiled. It's okay. We threw it in there alive.
Just cover his mouth. It's like shh, shh. You just stab him in the chest with the fucking stinger. No, but like no, here's what I wonder though, because I've seen like crabs and lobsters dissected from working at a restaurant, so it's one of those things. It looks, you know, you see just like, oh look, crab meat, oh, looks good, but then you see them actually dissected. You see organs and guts and all that kind of stuff. It looks super fucking weird and super alien, because they were just bright colors. I remember there was one crab the one time. This is like going like almost 11 years ago, but I remember seeing this one crab get dissected. It was super weird because it was all these different organs. It was like bright neon colors. I want to say blue, and maybe my imagination's filling in some of the blanks. But I just remember it being like not looking like what I expected it to look.
Yeah, no, it's different.
Go ahead. And one of those things of like, I guess we mainly eat the legs. I'm just imagining somebody trying to eat a fucking scorpion now. Like, would that have the same texture? Like, if it was like, say it was a big ass scorpion, not like a little like tiny one, like a big ass, like somehow we got one the size of a fucking like coconut crab, which that's a fucking real thing. That's freaky to think about.
Yep.
And you say you got one the size of a coconut crab, you boil that thing, you bust that shell open, aside from all the guts, would it have that same kind of like texture? You know, I'm kind of wondering that.
No, you probably could eat a scorpion. I couldn't see why not if it was big enough. You know what I mean? Because you can eat a lot of other insects. And technically,
I know people do. I see them inside of tequila lollipops, so I know you can.
Yeah. Because, you know, it's like technically insects are like one of those ones that's like a very good source of protein. It's kind of like that one source of protein that nobody ever brings up, but it's actually, you know, like it's the kind that if you're ever in the woods, no matter what, you can never starve because there's always insects to find, even if you have to dig down deep. I mean, go back to like, you know, Timon and Pumbaa logic and just look around.
I was just about to say, just Lion King it.
Exactly. But that's, I remember like in like one of those like How to Survive in the Woods books from like back in the day. I remember one that talked about, it's like there's anybody who dies out there from starvation, they were just too fucking lazy to like look for insects. That's the key thing. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. That's how you're going to survive.
That or just avoid the bears, unlike the grizzly man.
Oh yeah, but you know he's more talking
that's
about
just
like
one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
That's definitely not dying from starvation. Let's say that.
I just love that Grizzly Man documentary. It's just one of the funniest things ever.
I know. It's just the thing like, oh, he's my buddy. They're my friends, you know.
The bear's looking like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
God, this asshole shows back up again. Just wants to stroke us, you know what I mean, and try to pick out their insects on our back that I'm saving for winter.
I want to say it was Bill Burr that was like talking about that. And he was saying like, God, he's just a guy who was just in the closet. He couldn't face it. He really just couldn't. So he's like, I'm going to go out in the woods and hang out with bears. He's like, no way that guy at some point didn't try to fuck a bear.
Yeah, exactly.
And because you hear him talk and he says like, man, I wish I was gay, but I just can't. I like women too much. I just like them too much. Like I can't be gay. Just like, all right.
Be like that guy in Super Troopers. He's got the bear costume.
I don't remember the part in Super Troopers. What part was that? Farva or someone else?
Yeah, it's one of the guys out in the woods, and it's like they're calling disturbance. Like, there's a guy out there fucking a bear, and he's got like this costume. It's got like a bear strapped to the front of it, and then he's got to run away for some reason. I can't remember why. So he's like carrying the bear. Like,
I forgot that part. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, shit.
There's another good movie of this year that I kind of forgot about. Super Troopers 2.
I gotta watch that one before we do our top 10 or top 15, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, I know.
There's a list of movies I gotta get caught up on.
I know. That's my goal right now is to start to catch up on them all right now as January comes to. I feel like I'm pretty close. I only have a handful of movies left, but
Yeah, I don't want to talk about really any movies that we've seen recently. I just want to save that for that show. But I will say this for your list. Check out Sorry to Bother You by Boots Riley. Check that one out.
Oh yeah, I gotta put that one. I forgot about that one movie because that movie just barely came to like any cinemas.
Yeah, no, that one. I'll say this without spoiling it. That's one of those movies that it starts off as one thing, and it kind of lightly peppers out like, oh, I can see this going in a weird dark direction, but then it goes this other direction near like the third act. Like, whoa, what the fuck? Where did that come from? So, yeah, check that one out.
Yeah, that's definitely one to put on the list there. But I know, getting close to that moment, that fun old time of the year where you got to reflect on everything you watched so far and all the good times.
Yeah, so, God, crazy thing in 400. I mean, I guess technically 401 or 402, if we don't count episodes, just crapped out just because of the recording equipment or whatever.
Yeah, we only really have lost, like, technically one episode, I think, because everything, I mean, we've lost partial parts of episodes, but we've only lost one. There's just that one that we tried to record on our cell phone that just did not work out. Recorded for, like, 5 minutes, and that was it.
Driving back from seeing Seven Psychopaths in Modesto.
Yep, the old Seven Psychopaths episode. one of those ones. But beyond that, though, it's kind of a, when you really do think about it, it's like, yeah, they've all made it and so on. So that's always kind of neat,
And with the exception of like this last month, we've kind of always did one, not to stroke our own dicks here for a second, but with the exception of this last month, we've actually put one out like every week. Just this last month, it's just been like we missed one or 2 weeks, but I mean, out of 400, I mean, come on.
Well, that, and I always say it's like if we missed a week, we probably have done some weeks where we did 3 on a week, so it kind of equals itself
Catches
out.
up, making up for it. Well, you guys missed this week. Well, remember 3 years ago we put out 4 episodes in 1 week?
Yeah.
There you go.
Who's the asshole now?
There's our credit for that. It's like a credit system.
No, that's what it is. It's kind of weird. Is the other day, speaking of like Christmas and so on, I guess you could say, since kind of that post-it, but there was this, I went to go see in theaters Christmas Vacation, and I was like, dude, this is going to be amazing. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation in the cinema. And sadly enough, it was the worst movie theater experience I ever had. It was the most rambunctious group of adults. No children, no teenagers. So much so that, like, I literally almost got in a fight with a guy. Like, a guy was in my face when I told him.
Shit.
Well, I told people to shut the fuck up. I kind of went from, like, 0 to 10. Like, I didn't really have any. It was just, like, it was so bad. It was just, like, these people they're, like, talking during the movie, saying lines before they happened, talking about shit that had nothing to do with the movie, all the problems and so on. I mean, it was, like, and the worst part, too, is, like, generally, in a movie, you get those people that are talking. And you can mostly be like, yo, could you guys calm down, or could you guys please be quiet? And they mostly are, golden. And then you also kind of have that recognition from the rest of the people in the audience. They're like, fuck yeah, somebody said something. I was about to go down there and do something, but you know me, I'm not going to do it. But this is the problem, is I just noticed with like older movies, I started like the last handful of movies, I had to tell somebody to shut up about every single film. I had to tell a fucking older couple to shut up during fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey. I had to tell some teenagers to shut up during The Labyrinth. Now, oddly enough, teenagers take it a lot better. Teenagers and children, you tell them to be quiet, and unless they're like a ginormous pack of them or something like that, they mostly are all good about it. They're like, oh, sorry, man, But
well, I think the reason for that is because they're still like technically children, so they're kind of used to like having a teacher.
They're used to like an old man yelling at them, like, God, that old man with a beard behind us, like, started fucking yelling at us.
And then like where you get like an older person who's just like, I lived a life. You think I'm gonna take some shit from you?
Well, that's what it was. It's like, I think you get the older people and they just don't. They're like, what? Be quiet. And it's just like, it's like, yeah, you guys gotta be quiet. But I think what it is that the downfall of sort of classic movies is that people kind of go in there and they just assume that they're like fucking watching TBS or something at like fucking Aunt Sally's Thanksgiving birthday party. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, it's just
Thanksgiving birthday party.
It's like literally just
Aunt
on in the
Sally's
background.
annual Thanksgiving birthday party.
She was born the same day. It just kind of happened. But I guess it rotates every single year to a Thursday. So is her birthday. I don't know why that is, but I think it's just one of those ones. So people like almost like go into classic movies and it's like, and it's like, I just kept seeing it. It was getting progressively worse with some of those ones. It's like many of those movies throughout the year. It's like I never have to say something during mostly a new movie, but for some reason, those older movies, I just go like, well, I saw the movie before. What, you never seen it? It's like, well, fuck, I have seen the movie multiple times, but I've never seen it in fucking theaters, and I want to watch that experience, And this one was the one where it's just like, because most of the time, once again, every single time we've ever told somebody, like, hey, could you guys be quiet? Will you say it nice? Or you go, hey, shut the fuck up. Doesn't matter, like, how you say it. Mostly, they stop. Everybody's grateful in the theater, and it all works out. Boom. Not this one. This is the one where you're outnumbered. Where you realize that the assholes were the majority of the people there. Now, granted, there was still probably a bunch of good people because clearly, there was, over 10 plus complaints that were given to the theater after this because of, like, the rowdiness of these people. So it's not, I wasn't the only one in the boat, but at the same time, the rowdy people were definitely outweighing it. And this is the problem, too. Everybody was fucking hammered. That doesn't help the cause. You know what I mean? Like, a guy walks in there, he's like, got like a baby stroller carrying his popcorn. He's like, what's going on, Bill? Bill! And he like spills it over. He's like, look at that. Oh, fucking you spilled it. It's just like, oh, geez. Like, I already kind of felt like I know, the movie hasn't even started and I know what I'm getting into. It's going to be terrible. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones where it's just like, there's nothing good that's going to come from this. And God, it was just one of those ones like just you have such a good movie like Vacation or Christmas Vacation, and you just have these people just You know, also probably a comedy doesn't help either. I'm definitely gonna say, you know, if you went and saw Schindler's List, I don't think you'd have that same problem. But
Whoa, Bill! I'm just like, gonna watch some Jews die. Yeah, Bill, you know me.
like,
And then the little ones along for this one.
And then fucking people are getting up and going for beer runs, fucking like 3-4 times during the movie, and it's like almost like the example of like. This is almost kind of why...
That theater serves beer? That theater serves beer?
Yeah, they do at Angel's Camp.
Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, an Angel's Camp. Oh, I was thinking the other one, you were seeing all these retro movies at, like, a riverbank. Okay,
oh, yeah. They started showing them at Angel's Camp, so it was, like, a little bit shorter drive. So it's almost like the example of, like, why beer probably shouldn't be presented at the movies is because, once again...
Unless there's a security guard.
Yeah, unless there's a security guard. Because here's the thing, 90% of people can't handle alcohol. That's just the given. You know what I mean? Most people just don't know how to handle it properly. Because even if a theater doesn't serve alcohol, you've always seen those Applebee's bros stumble on in, and that's never a good experience either. So, you know, it's just one of those ones where it's just like, oh, God, this is... So you got drunk people, you got assholes, you got people, everybody fucking knows each other. Oh, it was so bad that I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not fucking doing this again. I probably won't go see a classic movie in theaters unless it's something super obscure and old that I know nobody's going to show up to, or if anybody does, it's going to be fine. Fuck it. I bought my own projector instead. I'm doing my own classic movie theater.
Just getting old film reels, yeah.
Yeah, I got a digital projector, so I'll just do Blu-rays and shit.
DVD player.
But
no, so like, how did it happen? You just said shut the fuck up. You got up in the guy's face. You guys almost fought.
Well, I told because I was doing the thing where I was just like, dude, it's like, God, could you guys please shut the fuck up? And like, there's this lady who was like, she's like, honey, you gotta calm down. I'm like, yo, lady, shut the fuck up too. And when his guy's like, what'd you say, my wife? What'd you say, my wife? I'm like, hey, I want to fucking watch the movie. I told your wife to be calm. You know, and the guy was like, oh, and then after he kind of freaked out, he sat down because he knew he had no power. But at the same time, I realized, I'm like, shit, if things go down in this theater, like, I'm the fucking minority here. I'm like a black guy at a Klans rally right now. It's like, shit, this ain't gonna work out so well. I better not take my hood off again.
Did anything else happen after that right there?
No, it just like was one of those ones. It was one of those ones where I realized I'm like, it was like a battle that I would never win. It was just one of those theater experiences that, like, once again, I was not the majority. These people had the fucking upper hand on it, and even if there was other people in there that were on my side, they were still, once again, not powerful enough against this like army.
Well, I can see something like if it was one of those situations where the lady started getting lippy with you, I could totally see Laura turning around, started to take off her rings, take off her earrings, like putting on like a Danielson bandana, just ready to go to war with this bitch.
Oh, that's what it was getting to. It's like, it was literally like, we were ready to throw punches at people. I was like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck.
You guys did not to tag team this whole fucking movie theater.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna be like the end of It's gonna be like the end of Kingsman 2, just the two of you just doing like this crazy fight.
Oh, that's totally what it would have been like, you know what I mean? It would have been like even like Kingsman 1 when they're in the fucking, church. It was just like I was ready to fight in the theater, you know what I mean? I was gonna fight for my movie freedom. I was gonna go down. I didn't give a fuck. But it's to the point where it's just like, dude, it's just like if I'm paying money and I have to be the security guard too at the same time, like, I don't think I'm gonna. It's like, nope. You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it myself. Doing my own movie theater where I don't have to see any of these fucks, and I can show whatever movie I want. And yeah, so I got myself a new projector. It looks fantastic. Granted, I really need to put it outside, and it's fucking freezing right now. So I don't know what you're gonna watch at the moment, but
eventually
it's gonna be awesome.
Alamo Drafthouse is pretty good about not talking. Whenever I go see a movie there, they're really good about not talking. It's a little bit more expensive, of course, but like shit, if it means like not letting kids in the theater and having it like just be quiet.
This is the worst part about it too. It's like children and teenagers are lots of times much better than fucking adults and old people. Ironically, I don't know why that is.
Not always. When I went to go see Ghost in the Shell,
if you get a teenage gang in there, then you're asking for trouble. But if it's just like a couple of teenagers, you can mostly like bitch slap them down real quick and they don't come back up again. Same with children too, unless it's like a fucking like, the fuck's that movie where it's like they're on the island and the kids have taken over?
Lord of the Flies.
If you get like the Lord of the Flies children group, there's no coming back. But beyond that, like if it's just a small group of them, it's like, I don't know. I think it's because the thing about like the problem with like a lot of adults is like when they whisper, they talk at full volume. Like,
Yeah.
they just got a lot of these, I think, and it's just they got some of these nuances that I just don't think they realize that they're doing something wrong.
Well, when I went to
What
go
do
see
you mean I'm
like,
not
Spider-Man,
whispering? I'm whispering right now. Don't you hear it? You should hear what I really sound like when I talk.
well, I know this is more of a parent thing right here, but I went to go see Spider-Man: Homecoming. There was this kid that was running up and down the hallway making fart noises, and I had to get up and like walk over to the parent and say, "Can you parent or some shit?" And just walked back to my seat and like for as farther away as I can from this fucking family. And then like another is when I went to go see Ghost in the Shell. At some point, there are these stupid fucking teenage kids kind of getting up. They'll be sitting in a seat for like 10 minutes. They get up, move to another one. They'd be like, on their phones or whatever. And then, and at some point, there's like there's this pop that's kind of elevated with this. I'm trying to think of a good way to explain it. They have a little bit of this railing. You're not meant to sit on it, but these guys kind of put themselves, and it's a wall. Position themselves on this wall and sitting there, and you can kind of hear their feet every so often.
Yeah.
The back of this fucking wall, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck if there's 6 of them. I don't give a fuck, and I just walk up to them like, guys, do I really need to fucking ask? I just looked at them, and they backed off. So it's not one of those things like this me like bragging about like, oh yeah, I told those fucking kids, but at the exact same time though, it's kind of like, you're right, you can kind of yell. Yeah. Kids can be fucking annoying in the theater, but you can yell at them because I think they're kind of a little bit more used to that. Like, oh, the grown-up person yelled at me, I guess I should do what they say, otherwise they'll send me to the principal's office. I think they inherently have that in the back of their head.
That senior citizen man dressed like Eddie Vedder came up and yelled at us.
Pretty much. The man in the plaid with the beard is angry.
But and I think that's the thing. That's what I've learned. It's like the only thing about adults though is I think they're not used to having somebody say like, "Hey, could you shut the?" Or like most of the time I start off nice. Mostly it's like a gradual build up to shut the fuck up. This time I just went from 0 to 10. I was at the shut the fuck up part about it. Which granted it's like that, but it's one of those ones. I think it's just because it was like a buildup. It was just like every movie I saw, it started getting gradually worse. It's just, I don't know what it is. And I think the older movies don't help the cause, but it's like, I'm to the point where I'm like, fuck it. Making my own movie theater. Fuck y'all. I'm going home.
Well, at the exact same time, I think we already said this. It's like when you get kind of older, you almost have trouble like really listening to younger people to an extent. And that's not to me, I got 2 nephews and I love those kids, but at the exact same time, when, like I said, if I hear like some like movie essay or critique by someone who's like 20 or 21 or something like that, I immediately get like, whatever, kid, which is not
death. What do y'all know about death?
Exactly. So I guess that kind of goes same way when you're like, probably some guy with kids who's retired or whatever, or you're like, whether you
that
in your
31-year-old man
60s.
just yelled at me. Can you believe this?
Well, that's a big difference. Like from 31 to like 60. Yeah, that's you are a kid to them. Yeah. So it's just like this fucking kid,
my own kid, I'd take him outside and whoop his ass.
Better move my fucking knee and everything. Yeah. Get out the belt back in the day when you could still do that. Granted, he don't talk to me no more because I did that like every day.
But
I even did it when he did a good job. Even when I was congratulating him. Like, good job, boy!
Yeah, you got all A's ones? Fucking beat the shit out of him that night. It was a love beat.
Gonna make him a man.
It was a love beat, but obviously
it's a love beating.
But yeah, it's just one of those ones. Like, it's just so fucking obnoxious. It's just, I don't know what it is. I just think that people have lost respect when it comes to movie theaters. And I think this right here is I know this kills the movie theaters for a lot of people because there's a lot of people I've always talked to throughout my life that the main reason they don't go to the movie theaters anymore, it's not the price, it's not all that. It's literally they just don't want the movie experience to be ruined by people fucking talking, so they've just given up on it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I just feel like and this is the one too. I feel kind of bad for a place like Angels Camp because Angels Camp's one of the only independent movie theaters left. There's very few of them left in California. This is one of the few ones, and they're probably the point they're like, shit. There's 55 fucking people in our classic movie night. Do I say anything? Because that's a lot of money for us. You know what I mean? So
and plus they're one of the only 70. They're one of the only 75 theaters in the whole country that played The Interview.
Yeah.
I know you didn't care for that movie, but that's a big dice to roll. this tiny little town movie theater is like, you know what?
Fuck it.
We don't give a shit what the terrorists say. We're playing this fucking movie. And you had a bunch of Fox News watchers in that theater just to spit in Kim Jong-il's face.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Or Un, whichever one it was. Yeah.
But then, yeah, that's what they get. They're like, yeah, we're Angels Camp. It's still the fucking Wild West here. Suck our balls, everyone. You know? And that's the thing, is this theater is fucking amazing. Like, I love the theater. It's like nothing against the theater and stuff like that. It's just like... Some of these people, it's just, I just don't think I can take the people that kind of, as I said, like, it's just one of those ones. And this is what I've always feared. Like, when somebody asks you, like, hey, have you ever been to, like, a Rocky Horror Picture Show movie before? I'm like, that sounds like the most stressful fucking event I could possibly be at. Like, when I heard, like, what they do with those movies, I'm like, okay, that's a bunch of people that don't like movies. That's a bunch of people that just want to be obnoxious assholes, is what that is at the end of the day. Because
standing up and throwing toast at the screen, you have people acting in front of the screen or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that to me just sounds that's for anybody who's like super into movies. That sounds like the most stressful thing I can imagine. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
That's like, I mean, that's fine if you're at your house and it's you and your stupid buddy that wants to do that together. But I feel like when you're in public, it's like, no, don't. And I don't know what that Rocky Horror Picture thing. That must be just some like inner fucking baby boomer children like coming out like being like, Dad never let us talk in front of the John Wayne movie, so we're gonna do it here where we're allowed to.
I don't know if it's baby boomer shit. I mean, maybe it started with a couple random baby boomers.
I know
people
70s.
Mostly are. I know, but I mean, well, that movie comes from the 70s, but at the same time, I don't know. Maybe I know people our age and just a little bit older. I know people our age and some Gen Xers that like to do that. I don't know them well, but I know people that talk about like, oh yeah, I went to this thing this one time, and like apparently, as far as I know, what it is it's just the movie's playing and you got people in the front, and I don't know whether they're like mimicking what's going on the movie screen behind them, and then at some point, like, I like to make a toast, and people just throw a toast at them or some bullshit like. Or some,
and they sing along during the movie,
and they have to get up and dance to it, and like, why would I want to do that?
It just sounds so terrible. You know what I mean? It's just one of those words. Like, it's just.
Because I want to say like that's what I heard it was, and then there's like a special feature on the DVD.
There is a special feature. That's where I kind of saw like what this experience is like. I'm like, oh god.
It was just as like, wow, it's just as this girl explained to me what it was. And then like, it's funny because you look at that, there's like an older couple, and there's like, I remember this specifically, there's an older couple and there's one old bald guy with a fucking mustache, arms crossed, and his wife like, I want to stay home tonight. It's my one fucking night off in the mill. You drag me to this bullshit.
At least at the mill it's so loud you can't hear anybody talk.
Yeah. Let's do the time warp. I'll be honest, Rocky Horror Picture Show was kind of ruined for me. It was one of those things where it came up, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I watched it, and like, I don't get it. Then in time, it kind of grew on me. Mm-hmm. And then in time, I'm like, God, fuck this thing. And what ruined it? Fucking drama kids. Fucking drama kids.
Yeah, the play fags or whatever they're called nowadays. That's what they used to be called, or play-ins, or they had many names. Many of these like 90s names that I guess aren't like the same, but yeah, well, you know why? It's because they'll take something and they'll exploit it so much so that it went from being kind of hip and cool to being like, okay, now it's just so overly played, and I think it's because a lot of people that are in drama like generally are kind of like. They're all the losers. It's like at the end of the day, you ain't getting an acting job. I think somebody just needs to break this to you before you go any farther. You know what I mean? You ain't no Channing Tatum. Let's just say that. Here's the thing. Well, Channing Tatum, he's got something that you don't got. It's called looks, personality, skill, talent, shit,
and abs.
Abs, yeah. You ain't got none of that. You're skinny, dorky looking. Well, that's all you got going for you. Shit, I wish I had something more I could say to you. I know those sound like negative qualities, but those are like really your positive qualities too.
You got braces.
Yeah. And you got a lisp, People love listening to people on lisps, don't you? How many actors do you know have a lisp?
And shit, those are some nice Converse you got, but beyond that though, I don't know. No, but like here's the thing, because I remember, I had some friends that were in plays and all that, and I was even in a few school plays just to be sociable and try and meet some stuff. And there's some couple people I made friends with, but there definitely were those people though that liked whatever musical you threw right in front of them. And it's one of those things that just annoyed me. It'd just be any fucking musical that came out and they fucking loved it. Because why? Because it was some musical someone just chucked in front of them and they'd just be practicing, almost be singing it like that, like out of nowhere. Like, Jesus Christ, can you guys ever stop acting? You guys always just act. Can you ever just be people? And there's this, the reason I know that that's still happening today is because I used to work at this bike rental company, and there's a location in Golden Gate Park. And since it's right by the music concourse, you'd always have buses stopping by, whether it be people from Europe on just a bus tour, like, oh, look, here's Golden Gate Park, or, just kids going to the Academy of Science and on a field trip. And there's a few times where it was like, I could just tell, just from the looks, there is just a troop of drama kids. What they're going to that area for, I don't know. But they, a couple of them had Hamilton shirts, and they were all like, not gonna lose my shot, not gonna lose my shot. I'm like, fuck, it's still happening.
Yep, it's one of those. There's a moment I remember, in high school, and I was just for most people, this won't relate to them, but I feel like the story and the people that they are, everybody's known this kind of people. But it was in Mr. Suggs' class, and he was showing this clip from 1925 of this musical. It's this was a popular musical at the time, or 1930 or something like that. And he's playing it, and there was these two girls singing along to it, and then he turned it off, and they kept singing along to it for about another 10 seconds more. And this one kid turns around and looks at me and goes, "He turned it off for a reason." I just remember laughing so hard.
I know the people that did it too, that were singing along. So oh, it's my moment to sing and shine and show off. It's all right.
You know what's funny? My dad told me the story of these ladies that came in to the restaurant not too long ago, and they're talking about they went to go see Bohemian Rhapsody, and they're like, we were singing along during the movie, and somebody told us to I don't know if they said shut the fuck up, but if they did, that's good. And it's yeah, I would have done the same thing too if some asshole was fucking singing during the movie.
Freddie is singing. You don't need anyone other than Freddie to sing.
Exactly.
You can't compete with Freddie. Why the fuck do you Freddie, is there room for me? Why?
Exactly. It's just one of those words I didn't come here to hear you fucking sing. I came here to hear a recording of Freddie Mercury singing. You know what I mean? It's just one of those ones you don't sing during a fucking movie. I don't care even if it is a movie about music, you know what I mean? It's what the hell are you doing? This isn't a concert. And here's the thing about concerts. I feel a concert's turned up so goddamn loud that if people are singing, you really don't have to hear them.
Yeah, well, here's actually, this is going kind of a few steps back, but still slightly on the same topic, kind of. When you went to go see Christmas Vacation, was this on Christmas Day or was it close to Christmas?
No, it was a week before Christmas.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if that was your Christmas day. It was a nice Christmas day. Go see a family Christmas movie. Then I almost got into a fight with a baby boomer.
No, I went to go see The Mule on Christmas Day a second time, and that.
That's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great movie. That movie's amazing. But it's literally, I feel like Clint Eastwood just should make, just like he had the Man of No Name trilogy. I think he should make another one of these types of movies, and then it'll be like the Lovable Racist trilogy.
Yeah, why not? Why not? He's already there. He said this is going to be his last movie. But
that's what he said about Gran Torino, though, too. So.
Yeah. I got one more in me. I feel like it's one of those things, with Clint Eastwood, he's always that guy just chopping wood out on a ranch, and the helicopter comes in. Clint, we need you. They hold up a script for, Invictus. He's I told you I'm done with that. Yeah, but we need you, Clint. You're our only guy. Fine, but just one more time. And then he comes back. It's same thing. He's out there chopping the same piece of wood because he just right where he left off. Helicopter lands back down. Clint, we need you. What? Hereafter. So it's
it's like that things. House that Arnold Schwarzenegger has in Commando. Just way out there.
Just way out there. Just kind of almost like a routine now. He knows they're going to show up, so he's just maybe I'll go to the other side of the house. There's not enough room for them to park their helicopter over there.
Yeah, one of those ones. Well, it's also
I gotta plant some trees, so it's harder for them to land the helicopter.
I kind of think about how many other people are 90 years old that have starred, directed, and produced a movie.
Probably not many.
Yeah, I mean,
if had to guess.
all in one like round. You know what I mean? It's like I can't. I mean, there's probably somebody out there maybe, but like that's gotta be so rare.
He's probably in like a special club for that. Yeah, he's probably one of the only one. He's not the only one, I'm sure, but he's probably one of the like probably top 5 people to get that much work done. His work ethic's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones to make a movie where like not only are you starring in it, but you also are directing it and you also produced it. Like that right there is just like wow, that's commitment right there. That's inspiration, no matter what.
Actually want to talk about something because you were talking Christmas Vacation. It reminded me a little before Christmas, and I told you a little bit of this in person, but not the whole situation. A little before Christmas, my girlfriend, she's Dutch, and she is part of this little Dutch community around town. And every so
See,
I guess
it's
they
just like
celebrate...
Gran Torino. It's like, you know, they find themselves all in their same place for some reason. It's just like
all these goddamn Dutch moving into this town.
Do you ever think that if you move somewhere else that you're just gonna find all these like California people be like, oh well, you know, you came over to Switzerland here? Well, here's the California neighborhood. Come on, move on in. Do you just think that that's gonna happen? To be like, oh, I guess I didn't really
just serve avocados and oranges all day.
Yeah, like I didn't realize this is what I was getting into, but you know. You know
like,
what I mean? Like,
they think California oriented, they just assume avocado.
If we just go to like another like country, are we just gonna like be kind of like forced to have to live in the neighborhood of all the other Californians? I just kind of wonder that.
Just go to Germany. Some dude's like, "Oh, these goddamn Californians moving in here with their surfboards and their long hair. Oh, it's ruining this town. It's making the property drop. Oh no!"
They're driving around in the Toyota Priuses.
There goes one now.
But I just think it's always funny because you always see that in the U.S. that there's always like, it doesn't matter what country you come from. Somehow, some way, you find your people here and you live in their neighborhood. Doesn't matter if you're Philippine. Doesn't matter if you're Spanish. It doesn't matter if you're from Russia. Somehow, some way, you find your people and you live together. It's just so weird. I just kind of wonder. I just cannot imagine this working the other way around.
Well, I mean, I guess I should explain. It's not like they all live in the same cul-de-sac. I mean, it's like a Facebook group. It's like, still, hey, who?
I just kind of wonder though, like if we went to Russia, are we gonna find ourselves like in our own like?
Oh, dude, you know
California
what? If we probably
town
went to. If we were like in some situation where we were living somewhere for a long time, we would probably met some not even someone from like California, someone from Idaho or fucking even like New York or Minnesota, like American. It's just gonna happen. People do that,
yeah.
Like, you know. So, but it's what was I gonna say? There was But yeah, so they celebrate Christmas differently. Well, kind of. December 5th is the day where they celebrate Santa Claus. And apparently their version of Santa Claus is a guy named Sinterklaas, and he is what, I guess, inspired all other versions of Santa Claus around. He was the OG, I guess.
Plus, Sinterklaas just sounds amazing because that sounds like a Decepticon.
It does, like, Sinterklaas, attack. It does. It totally does sound like a Christmas-themed Decepticon. So Sinterklaas, he's essentially, kind of like Santa, based off Saint Nicholas from Spain. And the way it works is he just comes in and he gives gifts to kids and these little candies, and then, America's like, oh shit, we'll give our guy a sleigh. We'll give him more of a red suit, because he looks kind of like a cross between Santa and the Pope. Because he has a big red, Pope hat and a lot of white and red. So you see the similarities of Santa, but it's like a cross, like I said, a little bit of the Pope in there as well. Now, here's the thing about this particular
Sinterklaas
celebration. Sinterklaas. Here's the thing about Sinterklaas. So he also has these helpers called Petes. Now, Petes are kind of like elves, but slightly different. Turns out that Petes are usually, or actually at that point when they were made, always black dudes. And since it's not exactly a high black population in the Netherlands, you get a lot of dudes in blackface. So it's just this tradition they had for a long fucking time. And recently they've been trying to do away with it. They've been trying to kind of slowly phase it out, but it's still kind of, you got people that are still hanging in there like, this is the way we start it, I've been a Pete for years and I take it with pride. But you got people that you're really trying to get rid of it, and I get that, obviously. But So going through that though, they had, because they had these decorations around left. Oh, one more thing I should mention. Sinterklaas doesn't come in via sleigh. He comes in on a boat from Spain with all the Pete's.
I love how he comes from Spain, like literally the number one country of capturing slaves.
Well, not to be this guy, but I might be wrong. I might be 100% wrong, but was it Spain or the Netherlands that started the slave trade?
Well, Spain's the biggest. Spain's the country that was still doing the slave trade when everybody else stopped doing it. Because that's pretty much what the Spanish-American War is all about. Is America having to go kick Spain out of all their like conquered countries, which would be like Cuba and the Philippines, and Guam and all that stuff.
Here comes America.
And then America,
on his freedom.
Goes, man, you know what? These Philippine people are already well trained. We're gonna keep them now, and next thing you know, they're gonna run technical service for all our companies.
You guys got a good work ethic.
Yeah,
let's set up a telephone pole.
Shit, that's a great place to set up a military base. Put that right there, and look, we're right next to North Korea and China and all that stuff. We can watch them from afar, but be right next to them at the same time.
Boys are good.
And Cuba, I don't know what the fuck happened there, but that obviously didn't pan out the way that I thought it was going to pan out.
It's okay, Audioslave performed there years later, so it was a cool concert. You see, I got the DVD of it. When he performs Black Hole Sun on acoustic guitar, then all of a sudden, like, Tom Morello, Tim Comerford, and Brad Wilk come in at the very end. Oh my god, that was amazing. Yeah, America. You're welcome, Cuba.
Yeah, exactly. One of those ones.
But anyway, so they come in via boat from Spain.
Well, because they have to go get new Pauls every single time, or Pete's every single time.
Pete's. So they go there and they give out, like, candy and all that, so that's the whole thing. So they're trying to update it, so they're just making it out to be like, oh no, anybody can be a Pete. It's not strictly this. We're trying to, no, it's not related to that thing over there. And, but regardless of that, they still have all these old-ass decorations they've been saving for years. So I get there, I'm like, she told me about it a little bit, like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. So we get there, though, I see some of the old decorations, and there's this big-ass poster of Sinterklaas on this white horse galloping, and then on the ground walking next to him is like a Pete with big red lips, like almost pitch black features, like, I got your bags, massa.
And I love how it's like they're all named Pete, like, they probably all have their own unique names, but
like, well, actually my name's Frank, but they said Pete 1, Pete 2. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to.
He's like, oh, my name's Akendo, but no, you're Pete now.
like, Pete be good. Pete don't run no more.
So it's one of those ones. It's like, I mean, I'll take it like this. If you just include like where it comes from in Spain and where it comes from, if you just kind of bypass all these things that are connecting it to like this like road of like not being the greatest, and you just take it for what it is, and let's just say that Pete actually just works for Sinterklaas, and he's just he's paid handsomely and he gets all his benefits and so on like that, and he's a real fine chap. I see nothing wrong with that if that's what it is.
If we just disinclude the, all the history that is known and out there for it, yeah. No. But the whole thing is they're still doing the whole Pete thing. They're just not doing the blackface thing with it. They still got people going out there handing gifts, and he still comes in on the boat with them. It's just not all blackface, and it's, whatever. So, but regarding,
sometimes I feel that blackface has always been kind of like given a bad name, because really, like, I think this day and age, I know you're cringing at this, but think about it, like, isn't it like, if you dress up as somebody, like, what's really kind of wrong with that? I mean, like, I know dress up as Pete, it looks bad, but let's just take that out of the context. What's wrong with somebody saying, like, it's like a kid saying, like, hey, I want to go to school dressed up as, Snoop Dogg, but I'm a white kid. Why can't I do that? You know what I mean? Fucking Tommy over there is dressed up as the Red Ranger, and he's going to school, and he's a black kid, like, but that's okay. Why can't I be, like, who I want to be? You know what I mean? Think about it.
Well, Red Ranger's not going in whiteface or nothing. He's just a fucking helmet. It's just a mask.
Well, yeah, I know. What I'm pointing out is that, like, it really, if you take out, like, what it's kind of like, I mean, I know what people, they go back to the olden, like, theater days and so on, back to theater, ruining it all. No. But, like, if you think about just, like, as that, I mean, like, I don't know, it's one of those ones, like, if you just take it just as is, like, a kid just wants to, like, be, like, his idol or somebody he likes, and that's how he has to do it. You know what I mean? I guess because you don't see a black kid wanting to be like these like white face, but it's like I guess it's no different than like like I'm using costume examples, but you know what I mean? It's just like one of those ones like.
Well, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just dressing up as a costume as somebody else. It's just, you know what I mean? Or like a kid like, I'll use this one. Here's a white kid's going to dress up as like his favorite anime character who's Japanese, and he's going to dye his hair black. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think there's not a bunch of the whole thing with
Asians just don't
blackface though. It's just there's the level of just all the. But I don't think there's a problem like dressing up like a character or something like that. But I mean, going to the point of like, because the whole thing with blackface is the very stereotypical like pitch black with the red lips and all that kind of shit. I mean, there's nothing but negative history behind that.
Well, yeah, that's. So, I mean, it's there's negative history, but I'm saying if you gotta take that out of the context, though, if you just take that part,
it's just hard to remove it though because it's so ingrained into people.
It's funny, people don't forget like things they'll forget things in the last 500 years, but they won't forget things in the last like 100 years. It's kind of an odd one.
I don't know. I gotta go the other way on this one, dude.
I know you do, but I'm just saying that like I don't know. It's no different than dressing up as a costume of somebody, something else, or.
I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, I see what you're saying, but at the exact same time, I just don't agree.
I'm taking it out of history. I'm just removing it out of history. If you took a couple people from outer space that never saw any of this historical stuff, and you asked them, like, hey, Gloop Glop from outer space, do you mind if I dress up as an alien like that? Is he gonna be like, dude, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck is wrong with you, you little fucking American boy?
Oh, Gloop Glop, we probably wouldn't even, like, Gloop Glop's not fucking real. So that's the thing right there.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, no matter what, none of this stuff is real at the end of the day. It's only real if you make it real. You know what I mean? If you don't, it's all make-believe. And I'm just saying that, like, it's like, it's just one of those ones, to me, it just feels like, if as long as it's not done in like a racist thing, it's more like it's just done as like, hey, it's just I really like this person. I want to be fucking Pete. Pete's my fucking jam. Like I'm not from the Netherlands. I don't know this shit, but like maybe to some people it's like, dude, Pete's like an inspiring hero. I don't know.
Well, the whole thing with Pete is apparently he's always portrayed to be back in the older days. He was always portrayed to be kind of like the very stereotypical like dumb, very kind of like bumbling kind of character, and that's the thing that's also associated.
Well, what if they make Sinterklaas black?
I have no problem to make Sinterklaas. I mean, look, I'm not talking about taking a guy.
I'm just saying, what if they make Sinterklaas black?
I don't care if they make Sinterklaas black. I don't care if they make Santa black. I'm not talking about a guy and I'm not talking about doing it in blackface. I'm talking about like if it was a black dude in a Santa beard or an Asian dude in a Santa beard. I don't give a shit.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying here. See that once again.
In a beard though, in a dude in a beard. I'm not talking about face makeup though.
Even still, every actor puts on makeup. It's just not as intense as other stuff. I don't know. I think it's no different than like if somebody dresses up as like an alien or a monster. What if an alien or a monster? What about their feelings? Nobody cares about them.
Yeah, no one gives a fuck about an alien or monster because they're not fucking real.
Exactly. Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those weird ones. It's just I always just think those are kind of like. It's like I get it if it's done in a bad way, but if it's not done in a bad way, it's like just a kid. Like I use a kid's example because the kids don't have that like. Knowledge based in there. They just go like, dude, I just want to be.
They don't. I'm not trying to shame the kid.
I just want to be, fucking Barack Obama for fucking Halloween. You know what I mean? I bet you there's a kid who probably did that. I bet you anything. If you look that up, there's probably some kid who came to school and he just wanted to be Barack Obama because he thought he was the fucking shit, and he gets ridiculed for just wanting to be his fucking hero because he happens to be white, or he happens to be Asian, or he happens to be Mexican, or he happens to be something else. Well, I guess if he's Mexican or Asian, he can probably get away with it because Barack Obama's looks kind of Mexican and Asian at the same time.
He's a little mix there.
Yeah.
But, the whole thing with that, I didn't want it to go to a political range or anything.
I'm not saying it's a political thing. I'm just saying it is just like
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just it's one of those things. The history is there, so it's hard to remove it. Because maybe if you didn't have people in the first place doing these really oafish, stereotypical versions, Dieter for a long time, and all these Sambo illustrations, I guess if that wasn't part of history, if that wasn't there for a long time. Then I guess there wouldn't be nothing wrong. But the thing is that is there, so it's just hard to separate.
Oh, and here you go. Here's your white face in Japan with the kabuki clubs. There's your white face.
I don't give a fuck about what,
See,
what
there you go.
when they do the
You know,
makeup thing. When do the make? Wait, are you talking when they do? That's just them doing like some weird like I don't even know what they're fucking doing there. But it's not
just
like
another weird thing. But I'm just pointing it out that like I'm making just observations of just other people around the world and just their different like weird culture stuff. You know, and I'm not judging anybody. I'm looking at it and kind of giving it a pro and con kind of look at. You know, I don't want to be one of those like cynical like hate them all kind of people. I just want to go, huh? That's interesting. That's what you do over there.
I'm not even trying.
It's kind of just like there. It's just like
every...
you know, there's some fucking people in like America that are like these Dutch people are the worst people ever. You know, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm not from Dutch land, the Netherlands,
Dutchville,
Dutchtopia. You know, so it's like, who am I to like tell somebody what they can do and can't do in their own country as long as it's not really seeming to like affect other people. It just seems like there's this weird fucking tradition that's there, and you know, just like they probably look at like everywhere else, like, you know, when people look at fucking America and they go, they got this weird fucking Thanksgiving tradition where they go on a turkey holocaust.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is I wasn't trying to stop and single this thing out and like. And totally just like, you know, like, look at these fucking heathens, but just like one of those things some people are trying to get rid of it, some people are trying to trying to like, well, not get rid of the holiday altogether, but trying to get rid of that portion of it, which, you know, some things change and times change, so I totally get why they want to do that. I'm not not judging all of the Netherlands for doing that shit. Because, you know, it's like you said, another culture, another country,
yeah.
But at the exact same time, I totally get why people don't like that, and I acknowledge why they don't like that, and I agree with them on that aspect. But the short and simple, what I was trying to get to that is they had some of these old drawings and some of these old decorations up, and as I'm walking through there, at some point I'm just like, oh, okay, just seeing some of these old like pictures, and all of a sudden this groundskeeper walks in. It's like, hey, you guys, need any help? I turn around, it's a black dude, and here I am standing in front of this poster with this white dude in a big fucking pole hat with a black dude carrying his bags. I'm like, let me get the person in charge, but he looks, I guess they'd done it there before, so it wasn't a big deal. He kind of knew of this fucking thing, but still, not gonna lie, and the guy walked by later like, oh, hey man, how's it going? Need some coffee or water or anything like that?
You want me to carry your bags for you?
I'm sorry, I'm not with them. Well, I'm with her, but she's not in the blackface thing. So, you know. But anyway, no, she was dressing up like not blackface, of course, but she was just dressed up as one of the Pete's, handing out toys and candy to kids. But watching it from a distance, it was fucking weird because after a while, it was like, because since I was there, like, hey, do you mind like operating the music? Like, okay, cool. Like, what do we do? All right, well, when the dude comes rolling in, play. It's not Sinterklass. Like, what? Song 3. Oh, okay, cool. And so I'm waiting. I'm just kind of watching there backstage. I'm kind of talking to her friend's boyfriend. We're back there just kind of waiting. Mm-hmm. And as he comes rolling out, I'm playing the song, and I'm watching them feed the kids. But basically, some of the kids get a little rowdy, so you just throw these candies. It was almost like watching them feed pigeons. Like these massive pigeons. It's like, oh, fuck, there's too many of them. Go that way. The kids will all just scurry over and grab the candy.
Wait, were you throwing candy out in the street?
No, we were in. That was inside. It was
okay. I was just saying because I'm like in America you can't do that anymore.
Oh no, it was in an auditorium. They were throwing candy, like the kids just. It was like watching them feed pigeons.
Yeah, because I said they stopped doing that during parades. I remember like 10 years ago or something like that. Because I remember when I was a kid, or
kids
when we were
running
kids,
out in front of floats.
Yeah, well, they used to just chuck candy out wherever they felt like it on the street.
Like natural selection, go! Just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little bit of a pre-Christmas thing. Just like, okay, gotta watch that, you know. And this one kid walked up to her at some point. She's like, "You're not a real Pete." And like, you should have said to that kid, like, "Those aren't your real parents."
They're like, "What's this dirty Irishman doing in here?"
Get him! Well, I had people because I.
They're like, "Well, Pete carries the bag. Well, what did the Irish do?" "Well, they fixed the boat." Get in your position. Like this kid's like dragging you over. Like you put on your oh God, what would be the Irish guy's name if this name's Pete for the black guy?
Seamus?
No, that's too Irish. It's gotta because you're not gonna have your
O'Neill.
No, you're not gonna have your Irish name. Pete's ain't getting his like African name. You ain't getting your Irish name.
Oh yeah.
You're getting another like Dutch Scandinavian type name. and you work on the boat, and you'll have the same name.
Snogglehaven, like that.
Yeah.
Get Snogglehaven his fucking kilt.
Yeah, exactly. Go work on the boat, you. I think we should travel to the
Here's your
Netherlands
little rascal's hat.
on December 5th next year and see what this is all about, and as a research experiment.
Oh, I made I was just trying to make conversation because boyfriend, the boyfriend of my girlfriend. I can't even talk right now. The boyfriend of my girlfriend's friend. He was cool, but we're just trying to make conversation at some point, like, because they just had this music on loop. I'm like, oh, well, your guys' Christmas music sounds better than ours. And then, like, he says, like, oh, this is totally, because I don't know what the fuck they're saying. It's all Dutch. He's like, oh, this is, like, totally children nursery rhyme shit. I'm like, oh, fuck. So, like, I was just trying to be nice, but...
No, I'm not that guy.
I'm just like, yeah, let's jam to this shit.
Just trying to get into the holidays. Yeah, when you initially sent me the pictures, that I'm like, I'm very interested. This is so weird. I want to know more.
I must discover more.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those ones. Some people are gonna shun this, but it's like I think this is something that, like many things in life, we should all know about the rest of the world's like cultures, and you should never just hide and burn books, because you know who did that? The Nazis did that. So don't be those guys.
I'm not saying hide and burn it. I'm just saying acknowledge that we know where it is, but at the same time, I understand times change. And, adapting it, like some things just some things change, some things don't do no more.
Yeah, I just think that like history should you should always just kind of have an understanding of it in other people's cultures, because it's just interesting. It's just like, it's interesting that somebody chose to do this and still does this. That's to me what I think is the interesting part. It's like, huh, that's interesting. At the end of the day, it's like, wow, you didn't expect to see this. You know what I mean? It's like, I like that's just, it's just interesting in a weird way. But
no, it's someone's sticking to their guns, whether you agree with it or not. So.
Yeah, and you always gotta give people credit for sticking to their guns, because there's something to be said about like that determination that like, I'm going down off the ship, god damn it.
I don't know if Sinterklass's ship has life rafts.
Yeah, exactly. No, he has peat rafts.
Yeah. No, I need you all to Voltron together to make a boat for me so I can survive.
Oh my god, if that's what it was, it's like Sinterklass jumps into his like transforming peat rafts and everything like that. Well, here you can almost say this though. Here's the thing though. While Santa Claus in America is hiring a bunch of white elves, Sinterklaas obviously has hired a bunch of black elves.
I'm not sure if they're exactly hired, though. I don't even know if Santa Claus fucking hires elves. I feel like because Santa fucking gets around, because if you listen to a lot of those Santa songs, it's like, Santa baby, and then there's the other song, I saw mommy fucking Santa Claus, or whatever that song is. Like, I feel like Santa Claus is almost like Mick Jagger, just has all these illegitimate children.
When he has the illegitimate children, for their punishment, they turn to an elf.
Exactly. If they if they act out, and it's one of those things where it's one of the. I think one day, they can make a good horror movie out of this. Like, it's like, I always wondered why he had pointy ears. Now I know why. And then the dad's all like, that Christmas. You got the convertible, light blue. It wasn't from your father, was it? Like, no, it wasn't. All of a sudden, I just hear on the roof, like, oh shit, just going down the chimney. We gotta get to Billy's room. Like, Mom, no! You just crash window. You see Santa Claus's sleigh taking off at night.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we always wondered why our kid didn't grow any taller after he was like 9 years old.
Oh, that convertible came in a prize, bitch! Oh!
Just like takes his children from him.
It's like you thought you could hide them? You could never hide them.
Santa sees all. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good. For goodness sake.
Exactly. Santa knows all. No, it's like,
well, fuck with Santa. You can't stop Santa because he has everything in that sack, because Santa visits like fucking NRA families too. So, Santa's not only bringing like Xboxes and fucking like Legos, he's also got probably a 12 gauge in there.
Well, yeah, and you should. Just because someone's part of the NRA doesn't mean that they're a bad person.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
probably gives gifts to gun nuts too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying that he probably visits everybody. So he's got a gift for everybody.
A gift for every occasion. Unless you've been bad, then he doesn't have a gift for you. He gives you coal.
Gives you coal or your.
He gives you coal, and then if you work at a coal plant and you get coal, then it's just.
He's like Shao Kahn, like, your soul is mine. And you turn into an elf.
Now, is there a Sinterklaas movie out there? So if anyone wants to experience this,
there might be. I don't know. I never looked it up. Might be. Let me Google this real quick.
See if the Netherlands has ever made like a Sinterklaas movie. See what their film division is.
Sinterklaas. I'm gonna do it with the fucking Sinterklaas. It's spelled weird. Sinterklaas. God damn it. No, it's fucking. I don't even know how you spell this thing. I should just probably Dutch Santa Claus. 1 second.
Yeah, because I feel like I can imagine how it's spelled in America, but I know for a fact that's probably not how it's spelled at all.
Santa. Dutch Santa. Oh, that's how you spell it. Movie. Okay. And this has to be interesting. Hearing me try to reach over the microphone and type. Dutch Santa movies. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, they got some Dutch. Yeah.
Interesting.
Saint. It's called. There's one called just Saint. It says it came out in 2010, and it definitely looks like Sinterklaas because he has like the fucking. It's like a silhouette. I just see a trailer. It's like came out in 2010, and I just see a dude on a horse. It looks like he'd be the Pope, but it's probably Sinterklaas. So, yep. No, it looks like they made one. Yeah.
So it looks like there's a couple out there. It sounds like almost.
Is it a horror movie? It looks like it could be a horror movie. You can go either way with that one. Let's see here. I'm not gonna play this whole trailer and like just comment on nothing, but I'd actually be interested in a Dutch horror movie, a Dutch Christmas horror movie to be precise. But. And of course, there's a DAS 3D ad in front of it.
Just sounds like it'd be interesting just for it's not even like a horror movie. Just like a regular, like, you know what I mean? Like Tim Allen's the Santa Claus, but just the Dutch version of it.
Oh, this is definitely a horror movie. Yeah. This is a Dutch Santa horror movie.
Huh.
There's already a severed, yeah. Oh, they got the Pete's attacking this village and Sinterklaas just watching like, ha 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 ha!
Well, that sounds interesting too, in a weird, odd way.
And it's just called Saint. And this dude, he just chucked a frozen head at him. So yeah, it's a horror movie.
I still want to see it. I'm like, where's like the Jimmy Stewart?
I'll change, Clarence. I can be a better man.
And Jimmy Stewart plays all the Pete's.
Oh, jeez, Santa Claus, I don't know about this. I want to have a good Christmas. I want to give all the children joy and toys. Like, you will bring them dread. No, go, Santa Claus, no. Anyway.
Interesting concept. I don't know. It's like one of those ones. Like it's one of those many things that I bet you most people in the U.S. never have heard of. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
most people probably haven't.
No, it's like, well, so you think about all the other weird Christmas things that you kind of hear about across the land and so on. It's like, yeah, that one was brand new to me. And it's just amazing. Like, there's people in the U.S. are like, no, we want to keep this. It's like Freddy Krueger. We can't let the children remember.
Well, here's the funny thing about Sinterklaas. I'll say this. Here's something I actually kind of forgot about. He, like I said, he kind of helped inspired a little bit of like all the versions of Santa. So he's a little bit of Krampus too, because apparently if you're bad, he looks at you and says like, guess where you're fucking going? Spain. Just throws a bag over you. So it's like, don't be bad, kids. You'll go to Spain.
The next thing you know, you'll be acting in all the westerns over there that they're making. All the spaghetti ones that they, they make them in Italy, but they go to Spain to shoot them. And you'll be an extra.
Sergio Leone has his phone number.
Doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. You're going to be a Mexican.
Brush up on your Spanish.
It's okay. They'll dub you over anyways.
You can't speak it, it's okay. Only person that didn't get dubbed was Clint.
Yeah.
And Eli Wallach and Lee Van Cleef.
Technically they dub themselves, if you think about it, because the way
because
they don't make them, they dub them later, which is always kind of weird.
Yeah, it's almost
same way that they make movies in China as well too back in the day.
Old Chinese, old kung fu films are always dubbed,
Yeah.
so that's why even though the lips don't match a lot of times, that still works.
Well, yeah, even like when you watch them in Chinese, though, I mean, like I think when you kind of dub them like that way, it's not too bad. Still, when you dub something in its own language, it's not really like the biggest deal. But that's how like those were. It's just they didn't shoot movies with sound for some reason, like in a lot of those countries. I guess because it probably just saves that extra bit of time. Just that extra job that you don't have to worry about, an extra guy you don't have to pay for, and then you'll always be getting clear audio once you dub it anyways. And it's probably that thing where some of the guys are like, you know what, we have to really dub this stuff over anyways, because half the time, there's either some, extra sound or an airplane flying over or some stupid thing. So let's just minus that part out and we'll just get straight to the dubbing at the end.
Yeah. No, it makes sense, but yeah. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up. We're breaching 2 hours here.
Oh, yeah.
But,
good place to wrap it all up with 400. With 400 episodes, there's more to hear. To be a Pokemon master is a destiny. I know, I still have this Pokemon urge, even though I beat Yellow. I'm just not too sure what
I gotta go back and finish it. I took a break once I got Smash Brothers.
Yeah. So I still gotta get all the characters in Smash Brothers, but that feels like... That's where you just need buddies on over so you can, like, have a good old time and unlock stuff.
We gotta see if there's an online thing so we can just do that and try to, that way it doesn't feel like I'm just playing alone. Like, I'll just put on single player again by myself and try to unlock them. That's the
I
thing
don't think you can unlock them, though, in the online mode. I think the online mode's just regular versus, and I don't think...
Oh, fuck that.
It's not like you can play classic mode or any of that stuff together with your friends.
Oh, whatever. Okay, well, at least I got some characters I like by this point. I mean, other than the starters, like Ryu... Oh, like Simon plays well. I like Simon.
Yeah, Simon. All the new characters play awesome in that one. But yeah.
Anyway, so we should probably wrap this up. Happy 400 episodes.
Yeah, happy 400 episodes. We'll see what all comes up next in the future, and what cool movies, comic books, classic games, all that fun stuff will come out and enjoy along the way. But till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Rain Dunnigan.
You can check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, comic books, music, movies, and more. We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange Podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more. We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boys on either Comix Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comix Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunnigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boys Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.